we are Being Disney Dreaming. My name is Nick, this is my wife Steph, and today we are going to talk all about the big exciting cruise news that the Disney Cruise Line have announced the UK staycation sailing. So we're going to talk all about what we know about the Disney Magic at Sea and kind of our predictions to what might be announced. So hopefully if you've got, say, questions or if there's sort of any information you're looking for or hoping to find out about, we might be able to cover a few things. So we don't have definite answers, but based on sort of research that we've done and sort of looking at the Disney cruise site, previous cruisings, etc., we've kind of worked out what we think might be announced. So hopefully it'll be a bit of a good insight.
Yeah, I mean, it's all our predictions, but yeah, we've got some ideas that we want to share at least. So
yeah, so
cool.
Should we crack on and get started?
Yeah, so obviously to begin with, we know that it's going to be called Disney's Magic at Sea. We know that because they've got their own Instagram page already, which we're in love with.
Already following.
Oh, of course, already following. Yeah, so it was announced yesterday that the Disney Cruise Line will be sailing around the UK. And it will be for UK residents only. Now this is a first, isn't it? This is new information, so that in itself is really exciting. Now it's going to be a bit of a staycation, so we do know that there won't be any stops or anything, but there will be 4 different locations that the Disney Magic will be setting sail from. We've got London, Tilbury, Newcastle, Liverpool and Southampton, so nice and spread out. And we do believe that this is just going to be for the summer of this year, which is very exciting. We're particularly excited about Southampton.
Yes, Southampton is our hometown. We're currently in Bournemouth, but Southampton is our hometown. So yeah, this is a big deal because some people may or may not know. So this is just for the Disney Magic. It's called Disney Magic at Sea because it's only on the ship, the Magic. Yeah. I have seen a few people seem to be a bit confused on Facebook and stuff, which I totally get if you're not diehard Disney fans, which is fair enough. But the ship, the Disney Magic, is the only ship that is sailing and doing these trips. So it isn't that a ship from Southampton, Liverpool, Newcastle are all going to be sailing at once. It is one ship going around the UK at different times. Our cat is making an appearance. Say hi, Maui. Maui. Okay, so they have announced it's 2 and 3 nights, and they have announced 4 nights as well, but the 4 nights are limited, so I don't really know what that means by that, because obviously it's a limited thing anyway. So I'm personally thinking it's probably only going to be 1 4-night sailing per location. That's my guesses.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
So
how we get out of the shop.
Excuse me.
Life with a cat, honestly.
What dates will the Disney Magic set sail? Now, obviously, we have not had anything confirmed yet. We are going to have to wait until this is announced, but we have a bit of a prediction as to when this might be. So, now, we know that we are currently in lockdown in the UK, which is great. And we are hoping to have things easing up 21st of June. So, that's the 4th stage of the COVID roadmap. So, we know that it's not going to be happening before then. That's a given. We are thinking it will be somewhere after then, and is likely to finish around the 17th of August by the latest. The reason we say that is because the Magic will be doing European cruises in Copenhagen. It starts in Copenhagen, and that will be starting on the 18th of August through to September. So there's no way that obviously they're going to be coming back and forth. I can't imagine that happening. No, I mean, so we got this information off the Disney cruise. So these European cruises have already been announced. They're already on the website. So it is literally, they start in Copenhagen on the 18th, and then it goes to Dover, other places around the UK, and it is literally the cruise. I think there's 4 or 5 cruises, and they are back to back until the end of September. So we think there's going to be about 7 to 8 weeks worth of sailing around the UK, judging by what we've read, which sounds great.
Yeah, plenty of time.
Plenty of time, absolutely. Okay, so our next point then. Where will the Magic sail? Now, we know that the Magic is departing from London Tilbury, Newcastle, Liverpool and Southampton. We believe, logically it makes sense that London and Newcastle will set sail on the east side of the UK and Liverpool and Southampton down the west side of the UK. I'm doing this with my hands and I did that wrong. But those ways. So that's our prediction. Obviously, again, we have no idea. And it depends on the length of the cruise as well, because obviously some of them will be longer than others.
Yeah, you'll get further on the cruise.
Well, of course, yeah, you get further around the UK if you're doing it for 4 days.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. And we do know that obviously there'll be no stops. It is however many nights on that cruise going around the UK.
Yeah, and we've looked again on the Disney Cruise website. Every year they do a British Isles cruise. So there is a cruise that goes around the UK every year, and it does make stops, and it goes as high as the south of Scotland. I believe it's the south of Scotland or mid Scotland, and it kind of goes in a bit of a zigzag, but it goes from Dover up the sort of west side to Ireland and stuff like that. So it might be the case that
there's a similar
route. So I mean, the 4-night, if there's no stops and the 4-night cruise, it could hit maybe as high as Scotland and come back down. So you might get some great views of, say, Ireland and Scotland, and at least some of the British coasts along the way. And as people have been making comments online that what's the point? There's no stops. Why would you pay for something?
There's lots of points. I mean, just being on the cruises themselves is enough. The whole point of a Disney cruise is that they make the entertainment fun. You've got your dining is meant to be fantastic. I say meant to be, we were meant to be on our first cruise last year, but that's now pushed back to next year. So we haven't actually been on one yet, which is another reason why we are super excited and stoked about this announcement.
But because we were supposed to be going on a cruise, we have already done so much research into Disney cruising that I feel like this is where we're gonna have a good amount of information to do this video, and that kind of things that we've learned and
we've done a lot of research. So the reason this is also very special is because the Disney Magic will only normally come to Dover. It's never really come to the UK like this ever. So this is super special, especially for Southampton. Southampton is a very well-known dock. Obviously it's where the Titanic set sail, and well, that's probably not the best thing to mention on this, is it?
No. Don't think about the Titanic.
Hope that doesn't happen. Yeah, so
we've got COVID to worry about, that's enough.
It's okay, there's no icebergs around the UK, we should be fine. So basically, when I was a kid, a Disney cruise ship came in to dock in Southampton, and I think I was about 9, and I remember watching it on a bunch of rocks, and it did a firework display, and it did the Disney horn, and I fell in love, and I was like, one day I have to go on this ship. Little did I know that it was never coming back to Southampton, so I thought. So the idea of this ship coming to these other places in the UK, and Southampton being one of them, it's quite overwhelming, actually. It's very exciting.
Yeah, I think especially, I mean, we've talked about in the past that we would make the drive to Dover. I mean, it's probably 2.5, 3 hours from us, which is a long way to go, but it's doable. But especially for the people that are up north, to have Newcastle and Liverpool, I mean, I think definitely. It's a game changer, and it is a sort of real once in a lifetime opportunity to not have to pretty much chuck another day's worth of travel there and back to then be able to go on this ship. I think that's why it's kind of making everyone go a bit crazy, like us.
Yeah, it's kind of like almost the 4 points of the country, almost, and I think that's really, really good. Maui really wants to be involved.
He does. Okay, so our next point is, how much is it likely to cost? Now, we don't know exactly. Obviously, we don't know.
It's the short answer.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot. It's Disney, we know it's going to be a lot. As we said, we've looked into the Disney Cruise Line already, and we've been looking into the website a lot and going through the kind of cruisings that they have on offer, pricings, looking at times of the year, length of the trips, etc. And from that, we've kind of got a rough gauge as to what we think the prices could be. So there currently is only one cruise trip that does a 2-night stay, and that sails from San Diego and goes to Mexico. So if we're talking like the cheapest possible scenario, so for the 2 nights, for 2 people with an inside stateroom, it's going to cost you £1,009. So you're talking what, £500 each for that cruise. A 3-night Bahamian, never say it right, Bahamian? The one around the Bahamas. The 3-night cruise around the Bahamas that sets sail from Port Canaveral in Florida. The 3-night cruise for summer starts from about £1,080 for 2 people, again in an inside stateroom. Now, if you obviously want to go for ocean view, go for a veranda, that is going to rack the price up a lot, and that's kind of starting points.
It's quite a jump.
It is quite a jump, yes. Now, based on those figures, I think you could easily chuck a couple £100 on that, because it's in Europe, and because it is such a limited edition special experience.
I think a lot of people are going to be wanting this.
Yes, and Disney know it's going to sell, and the cruising is lost down so much money, so they're going to want to make their money back where they can, and obviously pay for their crew and staff, etc., to come back on the ships. So based on that, we believe that a 2-night cruise will cost anywhere in the region of £1,200 to £1,500 for 2 people for an inside stateroom. For the 3-night cruise, we believe it will be around £1,500 to £2,000. And for the limited edition 4-night cruises, we believe it could be anywhere from £2,000 up to around £2,500. Some people have said they believe it could be around starting at £3,000. I think that's less likely, as you can get a week cruise for that. So I think it's unlikely to be that much. But you just never know. You never know with what's going on at the moment.
We will find out.
Yes, we'll just wait and see.
Obviously, that's a lot of money for a 4-night cruise or whatever, but
it's worth it.
It's worth it. It's Disney, and I mean, obviously it's quite expensive, but this is we believe a once in a lifetime thing. I don't think this is coming back, so everybody's going to want to do it.
Another thing that makes this so unique, this experience so unique, is the fact that they're offering 2-night cruises. Now, especially from Europe, they do a 5-night cruise, but it's still very expensive, and usually it is about a week. And the European cruises seem to be so much more expensive than the American cruises. It's an American company. Obviously, the ship, the Magic, normally it spends most of its time in America and then comes to Europe for the summer. So it obviously racks its prices up, because I know us Brits will pay for it. Let us know in the comments if you have an idea of like sort of what you think it might be priced at, and if it's kind of spot on to what we think it could be, or if we're like way under.
Yeah, because everyone's kind of guessing at the moment. Nobody knows, so it's hard to think, is this something I can afford in the summer? Literally a couple of months away. Or
going on to our next point, COVID and the vaccines. Now, this is getting talked about a lot. We are talking about it a lot. And again, I think this is probably people's biggest question mark other than the price. Obviously, the way of the world right now, it's a pretty scary place, and no one really knows how things are going to be by summer. More people will be vaccinated. There's a lot of question about whether we will need to be vaccinated. For instance, P&O as an example, who are offering the exact same package mini staycation, they are saying that it's for people who have had both vaccinations.
Which, to be fair, is quite a push, because I mean they haven't even rolled out the first lot yet.
No, however, I think based on that, typically, and this is very typically, not generalising anyone here, but P&O's demographic are the older generation, who will by summer most likely have had 2 vaccinations. Disney's demographic are
families,
children who won't need to be vaccinated, and young adults who aren't on the list yet for ages. I mean, we won't have our first vaccination for months yet. We personally don't believe it will be mandatory in America to have a vaccination to go on a Disney Cruise Line or other cruises in America. And it being an American company, that will be the case worldwide. So we believe it will be the case here as well.
We kind of hope, to be honest, because I mean, in the ideal world, we'd be vaccinated. Everyone on that ship would be vaccinated. Everyone's hunky-dory. But we're likely to not be vaccinated, not even the first one. So that does come with its own challenges, and you think, you know, is it worth it? This is quite scary, but knowing that it's not mandatory would be great, just because we could go on there and not have to worry, but at the same time being careful.
We think it won't be mandatory, but it will be advised to have at least one vaccination. Obviously, as you say, it is aimed at families, and the children aren't anywhere near on the list, whether they even will be. So yeah, it would be illogical of Disney, who their main demographic are families, to make it mandatory to have 2 vaccinations. It's unrealistic.
Obviously we'll see, but that's what we believe.
Following from that, Disney Cruise Line have put out a statement about the health and safety. I have written it down because I don't want to get it wrong. So they have stated, and I quote, "Health and safety is top priority for Disney. They will be implementing multiple layers of health and safety measures, considering the guidance from the UK government, health authorities and medical experts. They will be taking a number of precautions, including COVID testing before anyone boards the ship. So you have to have a negative COVID test, obviously."
Which is great.
Yes, it probably will be at an expense, but again, we'll have to see what that is.
Yeah.
There'll be health screenings prior to boarding, and most likely on board as well. Face coverings will be mandatory throughout the ship. So but basically, you'll be wearing a face covering all day, apart from when you're inside your stateroom and the door is closed, or when you are sat down physically eating and drinking. And I say this because Disney World has recently changed their policy, that where it used to be the case that you could sit down on a table and take your mask off, they've recently changed it that you can only take your mask off if you are physically eating or drinking. And if you're not eating and you're waiting for your food, you have to have your mask on while sat down at the table. So I think that will be the same, as cruises are a bit of a hotbox for illnesses. So it is a risk. Obviously there'll be social distancing in place, but there'll be reduced capacity, which could lead to the fact that obviously so many people want to book, there'll be limited space on each of these cruisings. So if you are wanting to book, we believe it's going to sell out pretty much instantly. So
I'm a little bit worried about that part, to be honest.
Not to stress anyone out, but if you are thinking about it, I personally wouldn't wait around when it gets announced.
Yeah, don't think, oh, I'll leave it a couple of days, I'll have a think. If you want to do it, think about it now, because it's likely to go quite fast.
Yeah. Disney Cruise Line have also announced that they have broken their policy of health and safety down into 5 elements, which again I'll read out for you. So they've got number 1, health and wellness, and that covers sort of what I've just said about testing, screenings, etc. Number 2 is cleaning and disinfecting. Again, we've said we've personally not been on a cruise before, but we've done a lot of research, watched a lot of YouTube, many hours of YouTube, and from what we know of Disney Cruise Line is that their cleaning and cleanliness is on point anyway.
Just as a given.
Yeah, and you would sort of pre-COVID days, when you would be going into the dining halls and restaurants, you would be given a antibac wipe, and as you come out again, because they're so hot on obviously keeping any bugs at bay. So those sort of protocols will probably just be enhanced throughout the ship.
Yeah, but it's nice to have that sense of confidence in some company that you know is going to look after you.
Yeah. The third point is their technology. So they've said that there will be health and safety updates on the navigation app. If anyone who doesn't know what that is, the navigation app is essentially the Disney Cruise Line app, where you'll find out everything that's happening on the day, so like when shows are, when films are on, etc. So all the information will be there and updated daily, probably throughout the day actually. The fourth point is crew member training. So I would imagine that crew members are probably already getting recruited again to go through training, probably this far in advance, to start making sure everyone's up to scratch. And the fifth point is working together. So it's just making sure that everyone on board, like the guests, etc., are all aware of the protocols, make sure everyone's keeping to social distancing, and making sure just everyone's safe and kind of understands the guidelines and what's expected. Okay, so I mean, that's pretty much it in terms of our predictions. So I hope we've covered some things that are quite helpful. I just wanted to give people a bit of an overview of the Disney Magic, if people perhaps aren't really aware of the ship. Everyone's tagging each other on Facebook and getting very excited about the idea of a Disney cruise, for us personally, coming to Southampton. But perhaps they don't really know what the ship is all about and what's included, or what the experience might be like. So for anyone who hasn't really heard much about Disney cruising or the magic in particular, so just a bit of background and a bit of information, because it's always fun. So the Disney Magic is actually Disney's original OG ship. It started sailing in 1998. It's actually the very, very first ship. It was built pretty much at the same time as the Disney Wonder, but that actually started sailing a year later. So it is the first ship, and it's very exciting.
She's very special.
She is pretty.
She's pretty.
She's pretty. When it's at full capacity, it can hold 2,400 passengers. To kind of give you a gauge of if we find out what the capacity is likely to be, if it's 50%.
Yeah, if it's halved.
Yeah.
I mean, the parks at the moment, they are
35%.
Yeah, so we don't know about that one.
So there's 4 ships in total currently. There is a 5th one that is pretty much built and ready to go out on the water. But the 4 current ships out sailing are the Disney Magic, the Disney Wonder, the Disney Dream, and the Disney Fantasy. The Disney Dream and the Disney Fantasy are much bigger ships. They set sail in around 2011, I believe. The Disney Dream is the ship we're due to be sailing on now, next year. And they're primarily sort of focused and based in America. Each ship pretty much has a similar design. So the Disney Magic and the Disney Wonder are very similar, and then the Fantasy and the Dream are very similar. But each ship has a particular character or film that they have a few things sort of based on. So for the Disney Magic, it is Rapunzel. So each ship has a massive theatre, like, you know, West End style theatre, and
it's like a normal theatre.
Yeah,
just on board.
And apparently the production standards and level is that of West End. It's supposed to be incredible. So for the Disney Magic, it is the Rapunzel musical, which sounds awesome. It does. So awesome. And then each ship then has a restaurant that is also themed to that character or film. So in this case, it's a Rapunzel restaurant, which is Rapunzel's Royal Table. Now this is a free restaurant. Generally what happens, so just to give you I don't want to go on too much because there's a lot of information, and if you want to find out more about the cruising and how it works, I really would do some research. But just briefly, there are 3 free restaurants. For the Magic, it's Rapunzel's Royal Table, Lumiere's, and Animator's Palette. As I said, there is a themed restaurant on all ships. Animator's Palette is on all ships, and then there is a 3rd other restaurant. So again, it's themed around Disney, but it's less characterful. There's not sort of like meet and greets, etc.
And we don't know obviously what characters are going to be like on here because of social distancing. Obviously in the parks they are not doing meet and greets, they are behind a barrier. So we think maybe that's going to be the same.
Yeah.
But traditionally when you're in these restaurants, the characters would come around. So for example, in the Magic you would have Rapunzel, Flynn,
you get some of the guys from the baddies from the Snuggly Duckling who aren't really baddies. They're nice criminals.
Yeah. So normally they would kind of come around. So we don't know if that's going to be the same. Sorry, our cat's chasing pigeons. So we don't know if that's going to be the same. But I'd like to think those characters will still have a presence.
So alongside the 3 restaurants, as I said, these are included. If for instance you book the 3-night cruise, you will have, typically, whether this changes because of COVID or not, but you will have 1 dinner at each of those restaurants, sort of 1 per night. If it's 4 nights, you'll just have 1 repeated. If it's a 2-night, I would imagine it would probably be Rapunzel and Animator's Palette. Animator's Palette is like a fan favourite. I won't spoil anything, but it's very cool. They also do have sort of speciality fine dining experience called Palo. It's something that's paid for, but highly recommended. There are also a few other things throughout the ship, sort of small little cafes, ice cream places, etc. that are chargeable. But then your main sort of breakfast and lunch will be at Cabanas. This is like a big buffet all you can eat, help yourself sort of style thing. So again, it'll be interesting to see what happens there.
Yeah.
Whether it'll be more table service, I'm not too sure what they'll do at Cabanas.
My opinion is, I think that it's just going to be very much like one person at a time. You take your plate up, they pop it on there for you.
They'll hand it to you on like times and stuff.
I don't think it'll be. I don't think there'll be much interaction at all there.
Yeah,
but that's fine. That's what we want. So
yeah, that will certainly be interesting to see what they do there. There's definitely some things that have question marks.
And that's another reason why they'll probably have so much less capacity, because if you think there's going to be bigger queues, spaced out queues.
And just in case anyone isn't aware, all your food is included, unless you want any sort of speciality snacks or coffees, etc. All of your food and a good number of snacks are included. Breakfast, lunch and dinner. And then if you want to grab some, they've got like whippy style ice cream, etc. Then that's all included in the price. So it might look like a lot of money, but it's essentially an all-inclusive. And it does include your soft drinks and hot drinks as well. Like I said, unless it's a speciality coffee, like a super macchiato, chacolino or something, whatever.
Nick doesn't drink coffee.
I don't drink coffee,
as you can see. We're British, darling. We drink tea.
So I mean, price comparison: £600 for P&O doesn't include your soft drinks. £2,000 for Disney does include your soft drinks.
There you go.
How much Coke are you going to drink?
There's you know, get drinking that Coke. Yeah, and then obviously if you want to buy alcohol and things, you can do.
Yeah.
But that obviously is paid for.
And speaking of alcohol, there are a number of bars. I don't even know how many bars there are. There's a good number per ship. And they're all sort of different styles, different themes. You know, it's sort of almost like Haven style places. You get like the family club where there's like bingo and like game show styles, games and quizzes, etc. Again, not sure. I think to be fair, that's probably easy enough to do with distance tables and things, and everyone's got their masks and
just like the restaurants.
Yeah, you just probably won't get the host coming around to tables. But yeah, so you get all that sort of entertainment. Obviously, things like bingo is chargeable, but if you want to join in on a quiz, they're normally free. If you want to join in a game show, that's free. They often get people up on stage. Again, whether that'll happen,
we don't know. All we know is it's going to be just as much fun.
Yeah, there is a dance floor as well with a DJ, sometimes even a silent disco. So again, big question mark on the dance floor.
I'll take a silent disco.
Does anyone remember how to dance?
No.
Who's been out clubbing? It's been a while. And then sort of other things that they have included, they've got a kids club if you want to ditch your kids and have some adult time. Ditch your kids is the wrong word. Apparently the kids club is amazing, the kids love it.
Yeah, I'm a little bit jealous. I want to go to the kids club.
The Toy Story, the Andy's room. Oh my god,
cool.
It does look so cool. They've also got some pools, a number of pools on board. They've got funnel vision, which is a massive TV on the back of the funnel, the ship's funnel. So that'll show like Disney films throughout the day. There's also a cinema / like second smaller theatre where they show films. Again, I think that'll probably be doable because it'll be spaced out seats, etc. If the cinemas are going to open, it'll be the same.
Yeah.
And again, there's those like workshops and activities, and there's so much to do on board. So when people are sort of worried about what they're going to be able to do if they're not docking, there's so much to do.
Even with precautions in place, there is still going to be so much to do. That's a given, because it's Disney, and Disney want to make it fun, and they will do, even if you're 2 meters apart from everyone and no one can see your face.
Yeah, and there's water slide.
There is
priorities.
Yeah, don't think you'll have to wear your mask in the pool.
No. Oh yeah, it's going to be like, because they've just opened Blizzard Beach, so it'll probably be the same thing where it's like you basically probably have to like put your feet in and dump the mask, it's like as soon as you touch the water.
Leave it with your flip-flops.
Yeah. But yeah, I think all the sort of sound loungers and etc. They'll be nice and spaced out. There's benches outside around the decks, and there's lots of activities to do, and there's plenty of free activities. Not everything is chargeable.
It'd be great.
And the biggest thing, which who knows if it's going to happen, is the evening entertainment outside on the deck. They normally have big entertainment out there with sort of characters. There's often like Marvel shows and the fireworks. The parks haven't seen fireworks in like a year. So whether Disney Cruise Line will do fireworks,
again,
who knows?
It's hard to say, but it's one of those things, isn't it? It's going to be difficult to judge whether or not they're going to do these things, because people can be distant if there's enough space. Hence why we believe there's going to be such reduced capacity. I mean, if it is 30%, there's going to be a lot more room because normally in these times, during these shows, everybody is on the deck. Everybody, pretty much. So you're talking a lot of people, you're talking a big crowd, everybody's very close. Hopefully they'll still do it. That's all we can say.
Yeah.
Because that would be a shame, but understandable. But yeah, we'll see. Who knows? We might get to see some fireworks.
Maybe. Fingers crossed.
Disney fireworks.
The fireworks that feed the fish. I think we've rambled on enough now.
I think we've rambled.
I hope this has been informative and people have maybe gained a bit of an insight more into what could be expected, or if we've kind of maybe said things that you've already been questioning. We'll certainly be keeping a close eye on the developments. For us personally, we will do what we can to go.
Yes, we will.
Yes. If we can go from Southampton, not have to travel to Dover and go for a couple of nights and not have to save up for a week's trip, yes please.
Yeah, we will do what we can to be there. But
yeah.
But yeah, so we hope that if you're interested, we hope you manage to get on there as well.
It definitely seems like people have got something to be excited about, and
it's such a good
people
feeling.
are really buzzing, and I think it is like next level, almost like euphoria, like wow, there's something actually could happen, and there's a chance it won't have to be rebooked and we won't have to get hopes up and then have to change it at the last minute.
I mean, we've rebooked our cruise like 3 times now, so
yeah.
We are itching to go on a Disney cruise. Our honeymoon was meant to be 2020, and that was when we were meant to be doing a Disney trip and a Disney cruise, and so things have... We're in need of some Disney.
Oh my god.
Okay?
The Disney fans are like biting their nails with like the Disney withdrawals and the Disney blues. They're getting a bit too much right now, and I think if we can get anything, we'll take any bit of Disney we can get.
Yes. So let us know in the comments if you agree with anything that we said, if you think completely different. Let us know, because like I said, this is all completely our predictions. We are not Disney
could be totally
workers.
wrong.
We could be completely wrong. Yeah.
And this has been a complete waste of time.
And if so, thank you for staying this
Yeah.
long. But yes, absolutely let us know in the comments what your thoughts are. Feel free to subscribe to our channel, because we will be posting as much Disney stuff as we can, especially if we do go on this cruise. We will be documenting
The
it.
vlogs.
And when we go to Walt Disney World next year, and we do go on our cruise again, hopefully, then we will also document that too. So don't forget to subscribe, like this video if you enjoyed it, and let us know in the comments if you agree. And if you want to see what it's like on a Disney cruise, 2 really good YouTubers I would recommend, Adam Hatton and Michael K. They have been on many cruises. So if you wanted a visual insight,
Yes.
go check them out.
Absolutely, yeah, good idea. I think we'll leave things there. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll be back soon with another video, I think.
Yeah. Stay safe, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.